Hey guys, it's me, and today I'm here with a new video for you guys, and today we're going to be doing a full-ish face of first impressions today. I haven't had enough new things come into my life to do one of these kinds of videos in a very long time, but I have some new things. Some of these things I bought with my own money. I say some of these, I think like most of the new things that we have here I bought with my own money, and then the other things that we have here I got in gratis. So I will differentiate between what I got in gratis and what I did pick up myself. But we do have quite a few new things here. Some of these are like new, and some of these are new-ish, and some of these things are just new to me. So just want to put that out there. The original plan was to actually wait till my Lunar Beauty package came in to do this video, but I'm not entirely sure when that's gonna get here, and I do have some things here that I'm not entirely sure are actually gonna work out for me, and if they don't, I want to make sure that I have enough time to return them to Sephora. So yeah, because they were online orders and you only get 30 days to get your money back the way that you paid, and I want to make sure that if these don't work out for me, I get my money back the way I paid. I'm going to try not to ramble too much in this video. This isn't really going to be like a chatty video of sorts. I mean, I'll probably talk here and there and whatnot, but for the most part, we're just mostly going to be focusing on these thingies. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop on into this. But before we do so, if you guys are new here to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, and also while you're down there, definitely give this video a thumbs up because it'll help me out a lot. All my links are down in the description box below, which are in the links to my Twitter, Instagram, and my music channel. So definitely check me out on those places if you're interested. And let's go ahead and get started. Let me start out by going over the things that we have to try here that are new to me. So for starters, let's touch on the palette, because I think this is probably the item that I am probably the most concerned about whether or not it's going to work out for me. And this is from Natasha Denona, and this is the Retro palette. This is the inside of the palette. As we can see, it's very like romantic tones and whatnot, and this palette, like I mentioned before, I am a little bit nervous about it. I'm nervous that I'm not going to be as into it as I thought I was going to be, because I got this during the sale that they recently had on Sephora, and there were a lot of different things that were on clearance, and this was one of the items. And I'm nervous that this isn't going to work out for me, because online I was like, oh yeah, you know what, this is going to probably work out pretty nicely for me. But seeing it in person, it's a lot deeper than I was expecting it to be. I thought it was going to be just a little bit lighter, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's not giving me the vibes I was expecting it to give. But we're still going to try this guy out today. The next thing that I have is going to be bronzer. So for this, I have a bronzer and a highlight in this little duo here. And this is also from Natasha Denona, because it went on sale during that Sephora sale. And this is the Mini Bronze and Glow palette. So this is the outside packaging, and then these are the colors inside the duo. Now the highlight shade I'm really nervous about. The bronzer, I think we can get it to work for me. It should work fine for me. Highlight I'm a little bit nervous about though. And then the last of the cheek products that we have, we're also going to be playing with both of the guys in this duo as well here today. And this is from Melt Cosmetics, and this is the Deadly Nightshade Duo Cream Blushlight and Highlight duo. So this was from the Nightmare Before Christmas collection, which this collection went on sale for like 50% off during the sale. And I went ahead and picked this guy up because throughout all the products that were part of this collection, this was really the only thing that I was like, you know what, I can probably get behind this. And this one, although it does have more of a gold toned cream highlight in here, I think that this will probably work a bit better for me. And I also do really like the tone of this blush, which kind of makes me nervous because I just bought a blush that is a fairly similar tone to this one. This one is a lot more pink. The other one that I picked up, let me go ahead and show it to you guys real quick. It's from LYS, which I really do enjoy this blush formula, and this is in the shade Inspire. And this one is a lot more warm tone. As you guys can see, it's also a bit deeper. So I'm thinking that they're probably going to be different enough to where it's going to be fine having both in my collection. Next set of new things that we're going to be trying out. Technically, I have tried this before, but it's been a very, very long time and I don't really remember it. So we're going to throw this in here. This is from Ilia and this is the Limitless Lash Mascara. And all I remember is that it has more like a rubberized wand. And this guy I did get in gratis, so I did not purchase this one. And I think the last of the things that are first impressions are actually items that I got in gratis. Now that I'm looking at it, yes. The next one that we have here is from ABH, and this is the Lip Velvet Liquid Lipstick in Pure Hollywood. These guys are fairly new. I think they've only been out but for a couple of months now. And then the last of the new things that we have to try out today is going to be from Kosas, and that is the Baby Burst Gel Cream. And again, got this in gratis. I'm curious about how this guy is going to go. I talked about it in the am I gonna buy this for the month of January, that I was curious about this but also a bit nervous about it because it does have copper peptides in it, so I'm nervous about the smell, but we're still gonna try this guy out today. And then the things that I don't have new items for are gonna be concealer, setting spray, primer, and brows. So yeah, those are the only categories that I don't have new things for. So we got quite a few new things to try out today, and then we got some things that I know work well for me. So yeah, let's go ahead and start getting our makeup done and whatnot. So we're going to start out by priming my eyes, and for that I'm going to use the Kulfi Main Match Concealer, and I'm using the shade Misty Maple. I'm just going to take little dots of this concealer and pop it onto my eyelids. This concealer I did get in gratis a few months ago. I do like the formula of it. I just don't think that this is a good color for my face, but it works nicely as an eye base. So that's what I am going to use it as for the time being until I get another actual eye base, because I just finished off my Urban Decay Primer Potion, which we all know I love. That has been a go-to of mine for years. But I just finished that guy off, and so I have this guy here. So I want to use this guy until I either use it completely up, I get an actual eye base, or if this goes bad. And I'm just blending this guy out with this Real Techniques brush. And I'll tell you the name of the brush in just a moment once I blend this out. I do believe you can still get this particular brush from them, because it is a newer brush of theirs. And so this one is going to be the medium shadow brush. I'm going to start out with nude mauve and just going to rock this into the crease. This is mostly going to be, oh god, I am so blown out right now. Mostly just going to be using this to like, not necessarily set the concealer per se, but just to work as like a base for the transition shades. So I have had Natasha Denona palettes in the past, but I've never had a like full-size palette. I mean, technically this is one of her midi palettes, but I've never had one of these slightly larger palettes from her. And this shadow has a little bit more color to it than I was expecting it to. I was not expecting it to have this much color. I am a bit familiar with the Natasha Denona formula, because I mean, I've had several of her palettes over the years. I have decluttered all the palettes that I've had from her leading up to this guy, because I just recently decluttered the long since discontinued Coral palette recently, which was a 5-pan palette, and the only reason why I decluttered it is just simply because it just doesn't give me what I want it to give anymore. And then too, I struggle with palettes that don't have a lot of shadows in them. And so I need to have like, I'd say like 8 to at least 12 shadows in a palette for me to really get inspired with using it. Quads and duos and like 5-pan palettes. Like for some people, they're like, yes, that's all that I need. But for me, I actually need more than that. Because I feel as if like I'm so limited as to what it is that I can do. Next up, I'm going to take on that same brush. This is a Wet n Wild blending brush right here. And I'm going to go ahead and go in with this same brush and pick up the shade Andy right here. I'm going to stick with this fairly cool tone, like romantic kind of vibe going on. I know Valentine's Day just happened, but I don't really care. And so I'm just going to pop this on top of that previous shade, which was Nude Mauve. Yes, Nude Mauve. And I am liking this color combo right here. Ooh. See, I like these kinds of tones. I do love a good, like, rosy, mauvey kind of moment. That's how I prefer doing cool tones, because I find that using like taupes and grays, although they can look really nice, they can go muddy very quickly. And for me, although yes, I do have like more of a cool undertone to my skin, so I can pull off the gray tones, like I said, it can go muddy pretty quickly and easily. I love Natasha Denona's formula in general and everything. I just haven't found a palette that is truly 100% for me yet. That's the only issue. And I'm trying to see if I can find one that fits into that category. And I'm thinking this palette, or possibly even the My Dream palettes, are probably the palettes from her that are really the ones that are for me. We're gonna go in with Amara here, and I think I'm also going to focus this along just the crease area, and I think I'm going to take it on that same Wet n Wild brush. I'm mostly going to focus this particular shade in the outer portion. I'm not going to take it too far into the crease, because I'm just going to use this guy to build up depth in the outer portion. And then I'll go in with a clean brush afterwards, a clean blending brush, just to sweep through the crease to blend things out better. I'm just going to go in with that clean blending brush. This one is from Lavish Beauty. Yes. And it doesn't have a name, but it's just a blending brush. And I'm just going to take this and just use it to blend things out. And I'm just lightly sweeping it, because I don't want to lose that definition in the outer corners. I just want to help to diffuse the edges. And to take just a little bit of that color into the crease. Now I'm going to go in with the shade Groove, and I'm just going to use this to further, deepen up that outer corner. And I think I'm also going to take a little bit of it just along the lash line. I'll take like a small little fluffy pencil brush like this guy here. This is from ColourPop, and this is a E21. And so just gonna focus this, like I said, just right here in this outer V area, just to further build up that depth. And then I'm gonna just sweep this along the lash line a bit. Actually, no, I'm going to connect it just a little bit to almost give it like a smoky wing, to give us a little bit of lift. Take that same blending brush from earlier from Lavish Beauty, and I'm just going to use this brush to do some light blending. just to soften things up a bit. I do feel as if I lost a little bit of the intensity of that Groove shade, so I'm just going to build that up just a bit more. I'm just going to layer it in the same places that I had it before. And as you guys can see, when it comes to me using this brush, I am applying just a tiny amount of pressure and just gently sweeping it over the shadows. Because I'm just trying to feather out these edges and to soften up the blending. It's very like soft and sultry, kind of smoky moment we got going on here. Alrighty, so now I think I'm gonna go in with the shade. Honestly, if I wanted to, I probably could go in with the shade Rebellion here just to further deepen things up. I don't necessarily want to do that right now. If I do use this shade, I think I'll probably just use it to run it along the lash line. But the next shade that I'm going to go in with, I am going to go in with Glitz up here. I'm just going to take it on a little flat shader brush. This is from Shani. It is I think it's an E11, but any flat shader will do. Because I don't even know if Shani Cosmetics is still around. They were just like a random brand I found on Amazon years ago when I first got into makeup. But we're just going to pop this guy all over the lid. Oh wow, this is actually a really sheer shadow. This is more so like a topper. All right, so we're not gonna use this guy because this is definitely more of like a topper type of shade. So instead, we're gonna go in with Psychedelic. And notice how I'm applying the shadow. I am pressing and then lifting away. So it's not like I'm actually only sweeping the shadow on. Because if you were to sweep the shadow on, which by all means you can definitely do so, but by sweeping the shadow on, you actually wind up losing the coverage of the shadow. You wind up losing that pigmentation. You want to keep that pigmentation. Oh my god, exposure. Correct yourself. Thank you. And so as you can see, we still have that color payoff and that shine. But if you were to just sweep it on like so, yeah, it looks nice at first. For one, you don't have as much control, but you also don't have as much payoff. And I am going to take that Rebellion shade and I'm just gonna run that just along the lash line because I feel as if I need just a little bit of depth. I know I'll probably get that when I pop mascara on, but I'm really wanting some extra depth. Because although I do like these shadows are beautiful, do not get me wrong. They're just not giving me everything I want. And I'm just using this little push liner brush from Do Color for this. See how it just adds just a little bit of extra definition to the eye there without doing too much. So if you're the type of person who doesn't like to do like any type of eyeliner, but you still want to be able to define the eyes but in a soft way, using a shadow like this really helps to give you that definition, but without it being so harsh. And I'm still going to use that glitch shade. I'm just going to take it on this little pencil brush from Lavish Beauty. We're just going to pop this guy right up here under the brows to be our little brow bone highlight. Because it doesn't have any strong base to it. So when I look head on, it doesn't look like there's any shadow there, but then when you turn and the light hits, you get that shine. Eyeshadow for the top lids is now done. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the face next. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime my face. We're just going to be using the Unseen Sunscreen from Supergoop. Finally finished off my full size, so now I can start working through these little minis. And also I wanna use this primer here. Well, it's technically not a primer, it's still a sunscreen, but it's formulated to work as a primer. I wanna use this guy today instead of, say, the So Blown from Kelly Ray, because I know how this stuff works and behaves with my skin. And I want to give that Kosas an even chance. And so using this guy, I am very familiar with how this guy works. I have used it for years. It is a tried and true kind of product, and I know it doesn't alter how home products work for me. Alright, so I'm gonna give this guy a good shake because I am not familiar with this formula at all. I'm not really familiar with Kosas at all in general. Yeah, it very much has like a gel kind of consistency. As you guys can see there, it is very bubbly, like, how would you describe it? How would you describe it? Like moussey, I guess, maybe? I don't know. And I'm just going to apply it using a beauty blender, and let's see how this goes. I have the shade 13, which is for light, cool skin tones, and hopefully this will work as a nice little shade for me. Oh, and that is sheer. Okay. So this is telling me that if I want more coverage using this guy, to use a brush to apply it. Okay. But I do like the color though. The color just melted in with my skin. If you guys could see if I wasn't getting blown out right now. My beauty blender here is absorbing a lot of the product because I just put out a second pump and we just started. Granted, this guy is not putting out a whole lot of product out with a single pump either, so there's also that. And I'm trying to see what kind of coverage I can get with it too. But let's see how this guy works, how it goes on. I know Angie, like Anielka Nyquist here on YouTube, I know she tried this guy out and it did not work for her, but she also has like more like normal to oily skin. I have dry skin, so I think that this guy is going to work out beautifully for me. And so far, like I said, I really like the color because I can't tell that I have this on right now. Like I can tell when I look in the viewfinder that I have product on, just simply because of how it's looking in the viewfinder. But in person though, I can't really see this. So it's very much a tint. It's not gonna be like a full-blown foundation. But that being said though, I am getting some decent coverage for a tint and everything. Like, it's evening things out. It's covering up some redness. It took me about 2.5 pumps to do my face. But I'm really loving how this is looking though. Very skin-like on me. Doesn't appear to be settling into the creases in my forehead. Okay, alright. Okay, Kosas. Yeah, it's not really wanting to sit on my nose how I'd like it to, but my nose is my problem area. A lot of base products do not want to sit on my nose. So that is perfectly fine. If I need to, I can just easily go in with concealer and build up the coverage in that area. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go in with concealer. I'm gonna use the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum, and I have the shade Light. And just gonna pop this in the inner corners. Conceal any darkness that might be happening. I need to get back onto my skincare regimen. I had a migraine about a week ago, and I've been taking things really easy with my body and my skincare just to make sure that like certain things don't set myself off, because it's always tricky for me to tell like what is triggering a migraine. Like, can it be allergies? Can it be stress? Can it just be my body hates me at the moment? Like, it's hard to tell at times. And I think this migraine that I had recently, like over the weekend, I think it was allergy related. But also I am getting over a breakout as well, which doesn't happen to me often. I don't get breakouts very often. Like, this was both like pimple breakout and eczema, and I don't know if it's because of regular seasonal allergies, because we're currently having a early onset of spring here in Atlanta, or if it's allergies to new products that I'm introducing into my skincare routine. I'm not entirely sure. And so I'm giving my skin just a little bit of a break for that as well. So I haven't been doing too much when it comes to like skincare and just like upkeeping the upkeep. Like today I just like trimmed up the neck beard and some of the strays and some other spots. But when it came to doing my brows, all I did was that I took my clippers and just went along the edges of the tails and just cleaned them up a little bit. Next thing we are going to do, let's go ahead and do a layer of setting spray real quick. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of all-nighter and just do a quick little layer of setting spray. I like to use a lot of setting spray, mostly because I use setting sprays as a finishing type product, not to like help the longevity of my makeup. I've never really noticed that big of a difference with using setting sprays to help with the longevity, but for like just finishing off the base and everything, definitely notice a difference with doing that. Now we're just going to finish up the eyes, and I think what I'm going to do for the eyes is that I'm just going to take what we did in the crease and just run that along the bottom lid. I'm gonna take this brush right here. This is from BH Cosmetics. This is from the Crystal Zodiacs collection, and it is a number 10 brush. And I'm gonna start out by taking that nude mauve shade, so that first shade that we used from that Natasha Denona palette, and I'm just gonna sweep this underneath. Ooh, I think I got some shadow in my eye there. And some kickback from the brush. I always tell people this, I always forget there's a creek next to our apartment. But but then I'm always reminded that it's there because I can hear frogs. Like, these frogs have just been going off for like the past month, and I'm just like, it's still winter. Why are you guys out and about right now? And now I'm gonna go in with Andy, which was the second shade that we used, and just go on top of that. Now I'm going to finish things off by taking the shade Groove, and on that same brush, just gonna focus this though on the outer portions. And then I'm gonna take a clean brush to marry everything together. Oh wait, didn't I use Amara? Oh yeah, I used Amara as well. I was wondering why this was looking so purpley. I had also used Amara. So I'm going to take a little bit of Amara as well and just pop that on top. Take a similar brush. So this one is from Real Techniques. This is the newer version of the base shadow brush from Real Techniques. And I'm just going to use this to blend things out. And now you can see why I didn't take that deeper shadow all the way in. Because just by focusing it there on that outer corner and blending things out, it's going to bring it in to the inner portion. To finish off the eyeshadow, I'm just going to take that psychedelic shade. I'm just going to pop it in the inner corner with that same pencil brush from Lash Beauty that we used earlier. I would take the shade Glitz, but remember kids, that guy does not have a strong base to it. So it's not necessarily going to be the best to use for an inner corner highlight. And how I like to do my inner corner highlights is that not only do I take them in this inner corner here, but I'll bring them onto the tear duct as well. So the eyes are just about done. All I gotta do now is just pop on some mascara in a little bit, which I will do, like I just said, in a little bit, because I put mascara on towards the very end. Next up, let's go ahead and do brows. Just gonna lightly fill them in using Anastasia Brow Wiz in Taupe. I think did I talk about this in a video recently? I can't remember if I did or not, but I just recently decluttered this in the declutter video, well, make a collection video that I did at the end of the year. Well, guess what? Got this guy in gratis recently, so it's back in my life, but it works out though, because I did just finish off that NYX brow pencil. So I did need a new brow pencil, and honestly, I think I'm going to just stick with using taupes instead of doing like I did with that NYX brow pencil and experiment with using something more red toned to try to match with my natural hair color and my beard color. And so instead, I'm just going to stick with using taupes to match my brow color. As my brows, for whatever reason, I don't know why, my brows come in very ashy in comparison to my head and beard color. Let's move on to cheeks. We're going to start out by using the Mini Bronze and Glow from Natasha Denona, and we're going to start out with the bronzer. I'm just going to take it on this Real Techniques brush, which no longer exists, which makes me really sad that it no longer exists because it's one of my favorite brushes ever. I have two of these. This is the Light Layer Blush Brush. It's just a duo fiber blush brush. I think you could still find it on Amazon, but they are upcharging the hell out of it on there. So if you want it, get it. But if you don't think that it's necessarily for you, then don't worry about it. I've never used any of Natasha Denona's cheek products, so I don't know how this guy is going to work, like the pigmentation and whatnot. And it seems like it has a fair amount of pigmentation. Okay. It also looks a bit red on me, which is not the most ideal for a bronzer for me. I like bronzers that are a bit more neutral. I don't think this is a bronzer for me because it is just really warm and more red. Is it doing a good job at shaping the face? Absolutely. Is the formula of it nice? Yes, because I only used like a tiny amount, and it also blended really well. The color is my problem. Next up, we're going to go in with these two cream products here. So we're going to start out with the blush and then the highlight in this Melt Duo. Once again, this is the Deadly Nightshade Duo. And I'm going to apply the blush using this Crystal Zodiac brush in number 4. I did pick up a fair amount of the product because I just want to see how it is. Oh wow, this is got some color to it. All right. And I feel as if it just absorbed that bronzer a bit. Do really like this color though. It is a lot different from that LYS blush that I showed you guys a moment ago. Well, earlier in the video. That one is definitely more warm tone. This is definitely more cool. It's more pink, which I don't have any like pink, like really like pink blushes in my collection right now. So this is a really nice color too. This is really nice. Okay. Not a fan of the bronzer, but so far we are a fan of this cream blush. So now let's test out the cream highlight. This is the thing that I'm nervous about because I have never had liquid cream or liquid highlights. Or at least I haven't in a very long time. But we're gonna dip into this guy. I am a bit nervous about it because it is a gold tone. And we're still gonna test this guy out. I'm just gonna take it up on the side of this, God, I think it was like a brand called Essential Tools, I think is what it was called. I think that's what it was called. I got it years upon years ago from Walmart. So I don't even know if the brand is still around. Oh no, that's pretty. That is pretty. See, I was nervous that this was going to be too gold toned for me to where it wouldn't look flattering. Oh my God, you can't even see because I'm blown out right now. There we go. There we go. Now you guys can see it a little bit. It just gives this really nice little sheen. I'm gonna see if I can build it up a little bit. It just gives the prettiest sheen. I am so blown out. I am sorry, you guys. I really do. I do want to get a new camera because I'm getting overexposed because I am pale. So I'm pale and I'm using a camera that's like over 10 years old. This highlight though is so pretty. And this is such a good combo too. Like this blush and highlight combo is really nice. Now I'm just gonna take the same highlight. I'm just gonna do it on the center part of my face. because I know that this is going to be a good tone for me. Oh, okay. It is lifting up the foundation on my nose. Okay. Okay, so that's a thing. So this is probably just going to be something to use on the cheeks. Or at least not to use on the nose. Because that definitely just lifted up the foundation off my nose. Okay. That is pretty though. Oh, that is pretty. Okay. And I'm just gonna go over my nose real quick with my sponge. Just to smooth that out a little bit. All right, now we're gonna go in with the highlighter that I'm nervous about, which is this one from this Natasha Denona palette. I'm scared to put it on the tops of my cheeks, but I'm scared to put it on the center of my face. And I'm just gonna take it on this fluffy eye blender from e.l.f. I love using this brush for highlight. Oh yeah, this is very gold. Okay. I'm just going to tap off some of the excess, and we're just going to take this along the bridge of the nose first. Okay. And then I'm also going to take it right in here. Yeah, this guy, oh yeah, this is too dark for me. This is too dark for me. It's leaving a cast. Like, you can see that dark line there when I turn to the side. Yeah, this... Okay, so we're not going to use this highlight, as it is too dark for me. Alrighty, so this guy is just an absolute dud for me. It just is not working for me, so we're not going to use it. We're just going to leave the face where it's at because we're looking good and we don't need to mess with it anymore. So I'm going to put on my last layer of setting spray. It's going to pop on this Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara. Let's see, I do remember the wand because it is like this rubberized wand. I don't know why mine is a little tilted to the side. Is the full size always tilted to the side, or is mine just a little janky? I think mine might have been just a little bit janky. So let's give this guy a go. I haven't used this mascara in like maybe like 3 years maybe. It's been a long time, so I don't really remember it. Do really like it. Ooh, I forgot how nice this mascara was. Ooh, okay. I'm happy with this guy. I am happy with this mascara. Okay. And then lastly, we're going to finish things off with the lips, and we're going to be using the Anastasia Lip Velvet in Pure Hollywood. Hopefully this will be a nice color on me. Oh god, I forgot that it's this kind of formula. Okay. I'm not too mad at this color. I was a bit nervous about it because I know this is in the shade Pure Hollywood, and I know in the liquid lipstick formula, like the liquid to matte formula, like the matte formula from ABH, Pure Hollywood is too pale. But this one actually doesn't look too bad on me. Alright, and this is the final look. And honestly, all in all, I'm not too upset with this makeup. The only thing that I did not like today was the bronzer. The eyeshadows I do really enjoy. I am still debating on whether or not this is going to be a good palette for me though. Overall, I'm really happy with this look. It's very sultry, very smoky, very nice, very sexy kind of look. Everything. It's giving me like kind of like the vibes that I was unintentionally going for back in like 2019. Like 2019 through 2020. Maybe like 2021 I think as well, where I was unintentionally doing like these like sexy librarian kind of looks. That's how I describe them. It's kind of giving me those kinds of vibes again. And I'm not too upset. Let's go over all the new things that we tried today. So the first thing that we're going to touch on is going to be the Natasha Denona palette. So this little palette here, this retro palette formula, great. I mean, her shadow formula is wonderful. The color story, though, I do feel as if it's a bit limiting for me, at least. When it comes to a lot of palettes, I like palettes that have a lot more going on with them, like more color options and things like that. This feels very streamlined and everything. Like it has a particular vibe to it all the way through. And because of that, although I do have 15 shades to play with, it still feels limiting as to what all can be done. It's a beautiful formula, beautiful palette, but I don't know if this is truly giving me everything that I want it to give me, if that makes sense. So after that, the new thing that we used was the BB Burst from Kosas. This I am really into. Let me see how it's looking on my forehead now that it's been on for a little bit. And I got a little bit expressive. It is settling into the creases in my forehead a little bit, but it's nothing too dramatic. I do know to be careful with using product on the bridge of my nose with using it. But other than that though, I am really happy with this little guy right here. I was nervous. I talked about this in the Am I Gonna Buy This? I was nervous about this guy because of the copper peptides in it. And I've used skincare that has copper in it and it just smelled like pennies and I was not here for it. But this doesn't have a smell going on with it, so very happy to report that I like that guy. Mini Bronze and Glow from Natasha Denona. This guy, the formula on it is nice. It's just that it's not for me. Like the colors aren't for me. Like the highlight is too deep and the bronzer is too red for me. And so because of that, this just is a no-go for me. This one, like I said, is going back to Sephora. Melt Deadly Nightshade Duo Cream Blushlight and Highlight from the Nightmare Before Christmas collection. This guy, definitely keeping this. I love this item here as well. Really happy with this guy. Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara. Really do love this. I'm remembering why I enjoyed it back when I had it before. When I had it before, I just had a travel size of it because I think I got it through either points or an offer code on Sephora back in like 2020, something like that. So yeah, really like it. I really like how it defined the lashes, and I also remember it having nice wear time. So really happy to have this guy back in my life again. Anastasia Liquid Lip. It feels really comfortable on the lips. I am happy with the color because it's not too light for me. I feel like this is like as light of a nude that I will go for me. Because if I were to go lighter, it would just wash me out. But I feel like this is actually a good light nude tone for me. And I do like the color. I like the formula. These kinds of formulas can be very finicky though. Just a little heads up for those of you who are unfamiliar with these kinds of liquid lip formulas. These more like velvet mattes. They are comfortable because they're not gonna like being like that full dry down. With it being that velvet texture though, they are going to cling on to any bits of texture that you have on your lips. Because I remember a lot of people weren't prepared for that when the that one line from Fenty came out last year, around this time last year when the Super Bowl happened and everything, like MVP selling out everywhere because that's what Rihanna was wearing during halftime show. Yeah, like these kinds of liquid lips, although the formula is very comfortable, you have to be careful because of the texture, because this kind of texture will highlight any kind of texture that you have on your lips, any kind of dryness. It is going to settle into your fine lines, as I'm seeing right now. Like, it's looking a little bit cracky and everything, but I also didn't fully prep my lips for using this guy as well, because like I mentioned before, I forgot that it was this kind of formula and everything. Forgot that it's more that like moussey, like velvet matte formula. But overall, I am quite happy with this. I'm still going to debate on whether or not I'm going to keep this Natasha Denona palette or not. I might return it. I might exchange it for a different Natasha Denona palette and see how I feel about that one. But this one just, it's not giving me everything that I want it to give. I really do want to try the My Dream palette. I think that's going to be the one for me. Editing me here. I filmed this video about a month ago now, if not a month ago now at this point. Very behind on editing. But anyways, I just want to chime in real quick to let you guys know that I did actually return the retro palette, and I did exchange it out for the My Dream palette. But the My Dream palette also didn't work out the best for me because the star of the show, the multi-chrome, constantly creased on me. So I wound up returning that one as well. So I am back to not having any Natasha Denona in my collection. Just figured I would chime in real quick to let you guys know about that. So let's go ahead and zoom you guys in so we can get a good close-up view of everything. So here are the eyes. Like I said, the formula on the shadows is wonderful. Natasha Denona's eyeshadow formula is beautiful, such a beautiful formula. I just don't think that this particular color story and palette is necessarily what I'm looking for, because I do have similar shadows to these throughout my collection. The bronzer, as we can see, again, very red toned. It's almost a blush on me. The blush that we have on is blending in with that bronzer because of how red it is, but it's very pretty. Highlight, stunning. Stunning, absolutely stunning. I love this cream highlight because it just gives like this really natural glow to the skin. I was nervous that it was going to be a bit too yellow toned or gold toned, but it is just giving it to me. Really enjoying it. As you can see on the bridge of my nose, you can see where it lifted the foundation there, so I know not to use that highlight on the bridge of my nose. So yeah, but you can see it on like the Cupid's bow here and on the chin. It is really nice. A forehead for the foundation. As you can see, it is settling into the creases of my forehead. I do want to try this skin tint with a brush and see if that might help out with that. But who knows? It could just be how it is with majority of base products, how they are with my skin and everything. They just settle in to those forehead creases. And then as you can see with the lips, it is settling into those fine lines, highlighting any little bit of texture. Like it's already cracking right in here a little bit. Or it's just like separating and whatnot. Like what is happening right there? And that's where I built up product too. Like did I build product up in there or did I not? I don't know. But it's just settling into those fine lines. This is one of those tricky kinds of lip products. Mascara, lastly. Beautiful, just a beautiful mascara. But yeah, so those are my first impressions on these. Loved majority of these items. A bit iffy on the ABH. Definitely don't like the Natasha Denona. Bit iffy on this Natasha Denona palette. Really like the BB Burst. Really like the Blushlight highlight duo from Melt. Love the mascara. So yeah, overall this is a fairly like good like first impressions video. But that is it for this first impressions. Have you guys tried out any of the items that I tried out today? Let me know how you felt about them in the comments below. Overall, like I have mentioned a few times already, this is a fairly good like batch of products that I've worked with and everything. Nothing was really bad. The formulas were all great. It's just that some of the things just did not work for me in terms of color. And I'm definitely going to continue playing around with a lot of these products. So like I said, some of these are going to get returned or exchanged, but for the most part, I'm going to be keeping everything that we have here today. So like I said before, fairly good first impressions here happening on this day. If you guys want to see more first impressions videos, let me know. I'm probably going to pick up a couple of new things next month and everything, because I know I'm going to be getting some products in gratis that can potentially be used for a first impressions video. And then there's also some other things that I'm wanting to get as well and pick up and everything and try out and whatnot. And so I could probably do another first impressions video next month. So if you guys want to see another one, please let me know. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until I see you guys in my next one, whenever that might be, goodbye.